This is the Tri-State Time Machine, brought to you by Alex R. White, PLLC, at SueDistractedDriver.com. Each week, your host, Vanessa Hankins, and her guests share memories and stories about the past, the present, and the future of the Tri-State area. That's West Virginia, Kentucky, and the Ohio areas. If you used to live here, or you currently live here, you're going to catch yourself saying out loud, "Wow, I remember that." Now, here's Vanessa.
Hey guys, it's your girl Vanessa, and this is Tri-State Time Machine, and I've brought back a familiar guest for those of you that are listeners that never fail to tune in to us. So, Jason Arthur, how are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
It's a rainy day here in Huntington, but I mean I think we kind of needed the rain, and I never knew I was going to grow up to be the person that said we needed this, but we needed this.
It's a sign we're getting old. We're getting old. It's okay, though.
I love it. So I guess we'll just kind of start out about what's been going on with you, because you've been like really, really busy. Everybody knows that you and we're pretty good friends.
Sure, yeah.
And you, I know you do track. I know you're still doing council. You've got your new job. You've got a lot going on.
A lot going on, yeah. But that's honestly the way I like it. My mind wanders too much if I don't have enough going on. So, yeah, I'm working still in sales and marketing for the region. Of course, coaching. We're getting ready to go to a state championship.
Nice.
We had 7 kids that qualified, so that's always outstanding when something like that can happen.
And that's at Spring Valley, right?
It is, yeah. Spring Valley High School for the track team. I've got men's and women's that are both doing just phenomenal there. It's Coach Mike Hall and I. It's gone really well. We've been there for several years now. Of course, this is my 18th year of coaching
that's what
track.
I was getting ready to ask you. You probably see on my face, I was getting ready to ask you,
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
18 years I've been doing with track, and football just a few short of that, because, to be quite honest, when I knew I was going to do the council thing, I got asked several times before, and I said, no, I want to raise my kids. And then I decided track was one that I could still keep. Football is more of a year-round sport. There was no way I could do both.
Football is, it's very,
yeah.
very, very...
When you're talking coaching clinics, and you're talking spring ball and 7-on-7s and camps and things for the kids, weightlifting programs.
I was going to say the weightlifting. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so much stuff.
It is a lot. Another great thing, the girls' state championship team. I worked with the mayor. The mayor was all behind doing
this is awesome, guys. Yeah.
a true proclamation for the girls' state championship basketball team out there at Spring Valley. So that was
pretty
awesome.
I got to see that online, and I also got to hear about it from you. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it out there that day. But the girls just looked so stoked.
They were, and just because of their phenomenal season and how well they've done, what's great is they got to go to the Capitol. So they went to visit the governor, did all that, and then we gave them their own day here in the city of Huntington. So they really were just beyond words for that. They really enjoyed it.
I love that because, and again, you guys know that I'll speak as a Wayne Countyan before I'll speak as a Huntingtonian. Sometimes we get forgotten down there in Westmoreland. Yeah. So I think that's so awesome that you kind of took the lead on that and made that happen for those girls. I think it's so important that they realize that they are just as much a part of Huntington as everyone else.
And it's important for the girls that are younger than them. They want to see this stuff too, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like girls like my Carly.
Absolutely. Carly's a perfect example.
That stuff to look up to for sure.
Yeah, and I will say that I felt like when first coming into this, everybody did have that kind of feeling of we're forgotten. I think that has changed. I'm seeing a big change that people are starting to believe, no, we are Huntington, and they're enjoying it.
We've had a lot going on in Westmoreland.
Yeah.
And not to always bring him up, but I'm really proud of the things that our mayor has done so far as including Westmoreland.
Oh, 100%. I mean, well, he's got a business there. I mean,
right.
But, so he'll always be tied in, right? But he knows how important our area is. Phenomenal people, great residential area. We're growing tremendously. In fact, just to talk a little bit about that, our fire station that we've been promised for years and years is finally on bid right now. We've worked really hard on this.
Yes.
People are very excited. Unfortunately, when things come to a point where they take so much time to get to, what you run into is certain people start to pass. We did lose some people that have fought hard for this project. But, it's kind of a passing torch moment. We're fighting harder than ever before to get it done. The mayor, the chief, myself, we've done everything we can, even all the way up to Senator Capito. She is a vital part of this, and she's excited about it.
A lot of people don't realize that the money is not just local money. Like we had to kind of work hard to get Miss Capito on our side per se, you know, to fight for us and to see how much it was needed. So I'm glad that we have champions in our state that understand the value of these small communities like Westmoreland.
Definitely, yeah. And honestly, it comes down to communication. If you communicate with everybody from Capito all the way down to just our regular neighbors, this is something that everybody wants, everybody's striving for.
Absolutely.
And it's going well. Another project that is huge right now that really means a lot to me is the wastewater treatment plant expansion down there by Camden Park.
Which, by the way, we'll get into Camden Park a little bit more in a little bit, because Jason and I had the opportunity to take our girls there for the day over the last weekend, and it was so cool riding the sky lift and looking over and seeing the big trucks over there and the way they're preparing to. And I guess, like, I mean, I've always seen it, but you never really pay attention and value it until you're a homeowner in a community and see really what's happening for our city.
Definitely. And to be quite honest, cool. I don't think a lot of people really realize just how important this wastewater treatment plant is. It actually covers a whole region. You're talking from way out 75 all the way down to where, you know, Meadows is and all that. It all funnels into that, and we're around 98% capacity. If the smallest little thing would go wrong, this is a major safety issue.
Absolutely.
So this has to happen. What really kind of blew my mind, you know, I toured the whole city and all the different treatment plants and different things. You're looking at 618 jobs, about $5.1 million in taxes for the city just during construction.
Wow.
This is a major thing. So not only are we going to take care of...
I've never heard the numbers out loud.
Yeah, I know. I've kind of been keeping them back a little.
That's fantastic. I mean, and it's like, it's kind of mind-blowing.
It is. That's big money. That's why,
huge.
Again, the mayor, myself, all these people, we're working so hard in Westmoreland to make things right. Brian Bracey does an outstanding job, by the way.
He really does.
I mean, he is just as good as it gets. We've got so many people that are incorporated on this and that care. And again, communication has made it to where everybody is working together to get this done. Now, here's the bigger impact of this project.
Ooh, let's hear it.
This after the expansion, okay, now you're looking at around 2030, this expansion will be done. I know that seems like, oh my gosh, but this is 25. We're okay.
I was going to say, time flies.
You're looking
It'll be done before you know it.
$293 million annually will come into this area.
Wow.
1,292 jobs, and it will generate $900,000 in tax revenue every single year.
How fantastic.
This is big time for the city of Huntington and Westmoreland.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. And I just, like, my mind goes to, and again, listeners at home, if I'm boring you to death with where my mind goes, sorry, this is just who I am as a person. But my mind goes to all the things that people are complaining about never being done. But the thing is, without money, nothing can be done.
Correct.
And a lot of people forget that. We have to be generating this money for these new upcoming things to transpire, for lack of a better word.
It takes money to get money. It just does.
Absolutely. And all the jobs that it's going to create. I mean, that's
what more could you ask for? I mean, this is good with between this and the projects going on at Marshall and the projects going on in the Highline District and there's a lot of great things going on. It's just going to take people to be a little bit patient, which I know is hard.
It is hard.
Everybody voted for change. We're doing what the other regime did and what they did well. We're working on that, but we're also doing our own things.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what the people voted for. So I won't get too political, but I promise Westmoreland is in great hands. We're doing a great job down there, and you're as aware of it as anybody, so it's good.
I'm excited for the things that are happening, and Again, you guys know that I don't like to get political, but I am very excited for the regime that we have in. I'm excited for our council. I'm excited for our leader. I'm excited as an employee of the city.
Yeah.
Things have, I say this carefully because I don't want to badmouth anyone, but at the same time, I mean, I had 5 years under a different leader, and the change that I have seen under Mr. Farrell have been outstanding.
Yeah.
And I can say that on a personal level of what I've experienced at Safety Town alone.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with where things are going, and I hope listeners at home, if you still live here, I know a lot of people have moved away and things like that, but if you're still here, I hope you'll take a second and put your ear to the ground and hear about the good things that are happening, because when you're on social media and things like that, sometimes it's very easy to get lost in the complaining and I'll just outright say it, the ignorance that can be out on social media.
Sure.
So,
and a lot of that is due to just being uneducated about certain subjects. They think they know.
Just pure ignorance.
For instance, these numbers, people don't know these numbers, right, until you put them out there.
Yeah.
So now they're educated on these numbers. So that's what we've got to do, again, with communication, is trying to get as much information to people as we can and not be so negative about everything. Some people, no matter how good it gets.
So big. The negativity, like, it wears me out. I think I've told you, like, a few times, like, if you call me in the morning and we're doing our normal, hey, how you doing, what's your plan today kind of thing, some days I just can't handle it. I'm like, I'm over everybody, Jason.
I wish to God,
I'll be honest, I am over them all.
that people would put that energy into working together.
Yes, finding solutions rather than complaining. I mean, and I've said that. Anyone that's known me, they know that I am a big cheerleader for our community, and by our community I don't just mean Westmoreland, I don't just mean Huntington, I mean our tri-state area.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've got great things going on in Ashland. They're doing phenomenal things at their riverfront. They've got acts coming into the community that we've never seen before. Healing Appalachia has moved to Ashland.
Huge. That's a big win.
Healing Appalachia was in Lewisburg prior, and it's the only place it's ever been since its creation.
Yeah.
So anyone that doesn't know anything about that, that is a music festival that Tyler Childers created to raise money for the opioid crisis in the Appalachian area. So not just West Virginia, not just Kentucky, not just Ohio. I think that trickles over into North Carolina as well, because it was rumored that they may move it to North Carolina, the festival itself. And so imagine my shock when it gets moved right next door and I can come from my house and go to the concert instead of driving 3 hours.
I was a little let down to lose it, I felt like, at first, but then I saw, what's in Ashland? It's right next to us.
Yes,
so
it's right.
It's okay.
It's a win-win.
It is a win-win, I promise.
Really is. So, and maybe we'll get there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll eventually have a place here in Huntington that we can have big festivals like that. I mean, we have so many great small festivals.
We do.
And I almost am afraid, and I say this as an avid festival goer, me and my husband, everyone knows that we love music and we're all over the place, but you're almost afraid for them to get so big, because that begins the downfall, because where do you go from there?
Yeah.
So I kind of love that we have all these small ones.
It makes it a lot of fun. And, and our group, we even go down to places like The Loud.
Yes,
and things
absolutely.
Phenomenal
love The
music,
Loud.
all different acts coming in. I mean, it's great stuff. We've got some great concerts coming in the area this summer, but I love festivals. I'd love to see more festivals here. We have some of the most beautiful parks in the entire state right here.
We really do. We were talking on the phone this morning actually about our Parks and Rec crew and what a great job that they do in the community. They really do.
For sure.
So let's touch a little bit on May is Mental Health Month, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what we're kind of talking about with like the ignorance and social media and things like that. And the way I correlate that is, I think even in general, we as humans, we get pulled into a false reality because of what people have posted on social media. Mm-hmm. So I think, in my opinion, just to make that clear, we have so much access to mental health care now in our community that it's a beautiful thing. And a lot of people have got to hear me speak very candidly about my mental health and my struggles with losing my mom, losing WG, and just depression in general. But we are so lucky that I was reading in a little book here right before we started recording. I mean, we've had the best hospitals since, like, I think 1924 is when, or 1923 was when St. Mary's was created, and then we had a specialty children's hospital, and then shortly after that we had Cabell Huntington come to the play. But we have other places like Valley Health. We have the recovery centers that specialize in it. We have God, there's just so many, like too many OVP.
OVP, yeah.
There's so many options out here. So if you find yourself struggling as well, like I do, please don't hesitate. Reach out. Get the help that you need. And maybe that help doesn't have to be professional. Maybe that help is you just putting yourself first
Absolutely.
Sometimes
there's
that's
a lot
all it
of
takes.
churches that even have counseling that
Absolutely.
are Christian-based and things like that. There are so many options if people will just utilize them.
Yes.
And I think sometimes we have a hard time when we're in a bad spot. We're like, I don't need to talk to anybody and blah, blah, blah. And I almost hate to touch on this subject, but this is kind of dear to my heart too. As men, we are always told to just suck it up, figure it out, deal with it. Yeah. And
absolutely.
I'm seeing now more and more that men are 100% realizing, like, listen, it's okay to go talk to somebody.
It is.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's absolutely fine.
And I'm not saying women don't go through that. I know you all do, but
absolutely. But I don't think people realize the benefits of therapy in general. Even if you're not depressed, therapy has been the most wonderful thing that I've ever experienced in my life. It really is. And then also, like I said, it doesn't have to be always professional help. Sometimes it's reaching out to a friend and saying, I need your time. I need to hang out. Things like that. I know this past weekend my girlfriend had a birthday party for her daughter, and I had texted her that morning. I just happened to have some free time, and I'm like, hey, do you need any help today getting everything set up for the party, yada yada? She's like, no, I think I got it, I'm great. Cut chase 45 minutes later, she's like, hey, actually, I think I do need your help.
Right.
And when we got to talking about it at the party, of course I showed up and I helped and I did whatever I could to help her make her daughter's date successful. But she was like, I'm not one to ask for help. And I'm like, oh, Amanda, I know, I'm the same way. I said, I think that's why I am the first one to speak up and say, hey, how can I help?
Right.
Because I am a person that doesn't ask for help.
Right. How many of you, we shut ourselves down so much to the whole world because it's just kind of what we've done to protect ourselves a little bit.
People don't want to offer that helping hand.
Truly, people do.
And they do, yes.
And you and I have talked about this before, how things used to be.
Yes.
People felt more apt to want to talk and get to know neighbors and things like that. Yeah. And given something as simple as compliments, now people are afraid to do it because they're going to think, oh, he's weird or whatever.
Right. Yes.
Why not say, hey, that looks very nice, or I like your hair, whatever. But people have gotten away from that to where now it's considered weird. So I think if people continue to talk, communicate, be kind to each other, things will get a lot better.
Yeah, and you and I touched on that. I forget when we were talking, because if you haven't noticed, we talk every day. But we were talking a little bit about how there is someone in my life that kind of freaks me out a little bit because they're so overly nice. And I had came to you and you said, I think it's okay to backtrack a little bit and just assume that it was for the it was
maybe it's genuine.
It was good. It was genuinely from a good place. It wasn't him trying to be creepy. Yeah. And sometimes we, in the world that we live in, it is so easy to just think people are weird.
Yeah.
Which we all are weird.
Sure.
Let your freak flag fly. I'm the weirdest person that I've ever met. So. And I'm married to the weirdest person I've ever met. Maybe that's why we work. I don't know. But I think we do as humans. I think we kind of jump to conclusions that people are just, because they're different from us, that their things that they have to say or the things that they share with us are coming from a weird place rather than a wholesome, good place.
There's still some good people out there, I promise. Yeah.
There really is.
There really is.
So guess what I did the other day?
What's that?
I got to have two guests on.
Okay.
From the Watch for Deer podcast.
Yeah,
I told you about
absolutely,
it a little bit.
Yeah.
They're very funny girls, Elisa and Samantha, and we had the best time. We had a couple drinks. I won't lie. If you listen to the recording when it goes live, you'll know that we were having a few little drinks. But that was so fun. And again, this kind of ties back into that mental health. I didn't know how bad I needed a little girl's time. Us just sitting in here laughing and goofing off. I didn't realize how much I needed.
It's good therapy, right? Laughing.
It really was. Laughter is the best medicine. So that was really fun. And if you guys haven't checked out their podcast, they are based out of Wayne County, and they do a little bit of true crime and a lot of comedy, a whole lot of comedy. So check them out wherever you listen to your podcast. I think I said it in my last update. It might not be for everybody, but if you're into true crime and you like to laugh, it's definitely, it was a good time, and I hope that I collaborate with them some more. We did find out randomly, right before we started recording this podcast, or this episode, that we may possibly be moving studios.
Yeah, that's big time news there.
Yeah, it's possible that the building that our podcast studio is in may be sold. So if that happens, you'll have to look for us to be finding new digs, and I'm kind of excited about it because I think we may move. Just to go ahead and throw this out there, we may end up in the Frederick, and
we're all about that.
And we're all about it. We
Very
love
historic.
it. We love the history. We love everything about it. So, and maybe we'll get lucky and we'll hear some like strange stuff on the recording.
I'm all for it. Gives us more content.
How cool would that be? How cool would that be?
I love it.
Like, don't mind that. That's just
go
the
with
ghost.
it. Yeah.
We got to give them a name once it happens. But yeah, so that's really exciting. And kind of to throw some stuff at you, Jason, because everyone at home knows that I've been struggling trying to find a co-host and the struggles that I've had with it. You and I get along so well. We have this camaraderie that just, it works. We definitely vibe off each other. So how do you feel about being the co-host of Tri-State Time Machine?
Honestly, I kind of feel like we have done it all so long anyway. Yeah.
That you've already been.
It really does. It's a comfortable thing. We talk all the time anyway. We've got all these tie-ins. Our families are always all together and friends and everything else. So, I mean, what better way than to just keep pushing forward? I'm all for it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's great.
So I guess this is the official introduction to my co-host, Jason.
We'll make it official. There we go.
We're excited, guys.
There
we
you
hope
go.
you are too.
Absolutely.
So, fun times. I think I want to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming stuff we've got going on in Huntington, just because we're at the brink of summer. Kids are getting ready to get out of school, and that's when life just goes bonkers. Goodness gracious, I can't talk today. Things go bonkers once the kids are out of school, because parents, we feel crazy keeping them busy, getting them in things. So there's some really cool stuff happening at the YMCA, a lot of classes. So if you're a member or a non-member, you can take a lot of their lessons and classes that they offer. The fee varies if you are a member versus the non-member. So I think that's really cool. We're going to have Carly in some volleyball lessons this year, get her prepared for trying out for middle school. So we're excited about that. Lots of festivals like we talked about. One big one, well, I guess it's not really a festival, it's an event, and this is actually going to be their last hurrah of the event that's been going on for several years, called the Hooligan Homecoming. Have you ever heard of it?
I have, yeah.
All right,
that's awesome.
So if you're a metal fan, they do the Hooligan Homecoming every year, and they raise money for Facing Hunger Food Bank and or Little Victory. So that's a pretty cool event, but something that I think is awesome about it is that they find a way each year to honor someone, So last year they had honored a former member who had passed away unexpectedly and things like that. So if you're interested in that, it's going to be May 24th, which is, what's that, this weekend? Is that this weekend?
Yeah, it would have to be. Yeah, today's the 20th. So
okay, so that's this weekend. Doors open at noon. Again, this is going to be at the Loud. The first note is to be played around 1 p.m. They say come and enjoy a few hours of headbanging and good times that you've come to expect over the year. Over the years, as usual, admission and donations for the Facing Food Bank and Little Victories Animal Rescue at the door. Bring all you can spare and a little more if you can. Our neighbors always need this help that they use to raise this money. So I think it's pretty cool. So they say, let your hair down, put your horns up, and come with an open heart to the community. And together we can prove that loud music is good for the body and soul, and it even saves lives if you do it right. And I think that that's so very true. They're going to kick that off at another little festival, a little mini festival that we have here in Huntington called 9th Street Live, which that now is sponsored by, it's going to be Mount West 9th Street Live instead of Kindred Communications 9th Street Live.
Okay.
I guess each year that kind of changes.
Yeah, good sponsorship. Yeah, right.
So I thought that was pretty cool, and I think their main sponsor for this specific night is Michelob Ultra and White Claw. So that'll be really fun, and if you can come out, even if you don't like the music, come out, make a donation, say hello, see some neighbors, because, I mean, this is like, when we were there last year, the amount of people that I ran into that I would never have expected to see in the Loud at all, let alone at a metal concert venue show,
right, yeah.
Was surprising, and we just had so much fun. We enjoyed it, and metal, is not my forte. It's not even really Brandon's forte, but we stayed and rocked out all day long and had a good time. It was never a point where we were like, oh my gosh, this is not our crowd, we have to get out of here,
But that's what Huntington's
good
about.
Good food, yeah, absolutely. But, and it's so laid back. It's literally a group of metalheads that they take turns getting up on stage and doing covers, doing their own show. It's just so cool. It's so fun. So if you can go to that, go. And then we'll talk a little bit more about Kindred Communications. Have you ever been down to 9th Street Live?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think what a great opportunity for Huntington to close everything down and just have live concerts with local artists and things of that sort. I just think that we need more things like that, and I'm seeing it more and more. I mean, obviously we're familiar with the Loud and what it does, but 9th Street being outside, having designated areas for drinks, you've got food vendors.
What do you know what POTA stands for? I always forget.
I forget right off.
I caught you off guard.
Yeah.
I can't remember either, and I tell everybody we have POTA, which it's called different things in different areas. I was just in what was that? Belfry, Ohio, I think. I went to a spa randomly with a girlfriend, and they have one, and it's called CODA. So theirs is like a playoff of POTA, or we played off of theirs, but I could not remember what ours stood for to have the difference in the P and the K. But come. It's every Friday night in downtown Huntington, right there beside Marshall Cafe. And they block off the whole 9th Street area there. You got a stage. You can bring your chairs. You can even bring your own beverage. I've seen people with coolers, like small coolers. Obviously nothing big and crazy, but a little lunch sack with a couple drinks in it. You can do that.
So POTA is actually private outdoor designated area, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, so there's that. But I think we would be remiss to not even mention Thursday night at Pullman Square. I think it's coming back as well.
It is, yeah, and that's an outstanding thing. And and I even think about things, when we're talking about for things to do out in the families and different things. The A.D. Lewis, we still have the A.D. Lewis. The mayor, along with council down there, she's done a phenomenal job, Miss Teresa Johnson, and trying to work with our public works. And listen, A.D. Lewis looks nice. They have gone in there and fixed so much.
I've seen that they've done so much updates.
Oh, it's huge.
And again, this goes to I don't want to get political on anybody, but these are things that weren't happening before, that had been neglected for so long.
Yes, yeah, I mean,
that now are being repaired. We even talked about such things, because I've been having a little bit of trouble out of one of my toilets at Safety Town. But we were talking about I was talking with maintenance, that they were having some of the same issues at A.D. Lewis. And when you've got a bunch of, in my case, second graders who need to use the potty, they need to go like right now.
Oh yeah.
So that's a big problem to have. It doesn't seem big, but when you've got facilities to have your community invited in, you've got to have this stuff up and running. So again, things that have been neglected, they're being renovated, and they're better than ever. They're coming back better than ever.
Yeah, and again, great communication causes this. This is what happens when you have great leadership and you have great communication. People are working together to get projects done, and we've got to have those things. I also think about Heritage Farm, the great things that they're doing out there. I mean, we've got so much going on out there. It's unbelievable. With, they're putting in the new winter park, and they have all these different, you can rent four-wheelers out there, side-by-side type deals. I mean, there's just so much going on. Road courses, bike trails. That's what I was
going to say. Their bike trails are phenomenal.
So
if you're into biking, if your kids are into it, like whatsoever, that's a phenomenal place to go and do the ropes course, like you said. Something that WG and I, we got to go out and do the zip line a few years ago, and we did an episode on it, and I am terrified of heights. Terrified. So, like, the words that came out of my mouth, I think I got pretty creative, and I felt terrible, because that is a good Christian place out there at Heritage Farm. They are the best people in the world, but there is nothing like the fear that overcomes you if you're afraid of heights when you get up there. Because what is it, the longest in West Virginia?
Yes, it is.
The zip line?
It is.
That's what I was thinking. And I mean, the view that you see, I mean, it's gorgeous.
It really is. The Perrys have done a good job.
Even though I'm afraid of heights, I want to redo it in the fall.
I think that's something good for our podcast. We need to go out there and check this stuff out, because, Audion has done such a good job of continuing what his mom and dad's vision was.
Yeah.
Mike and Henriella and the whole Perry family had this historical outlook and the way things are, and now they've made it that much more fun, plus the history of it all.
Absolutely. And this indoor tubing, like, I mean, we're going to have people from all over.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be major.
This is going to be great for our economy locally.
Yep.
I'm so excited for what's to come, and I'm excited for, like I said, these music festivals. I wanted to backtrack a little bit and talk about the Thursday night concert series, just because I want to let our listeners know when it is. So that is every Thursday night, live music, food, and fun at Pullman Square. So the little shed type thing that's like there by the bus stop, that's usually where the music sets up, and they put on a great show. So you can literally be in Huntington and see live music Thursday, Friday, and probably Saturday if you end up going to the Loud.
Yeah.
So you can get it outside Thursday, Friday, and then hit up the Loud and get live music on a Saturday.
Honestly,
so,
there's live music going around somewhere almost daily in the city of Huntington.
I love going down to party. Well, I guess it's not party on the patio anymore, but do they call it that down there?
I think it's called something else, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, right there by Heritage Station.
Yeah.
What is that called? That's going to drive me crazy. But yeah, there's live music all over. If you like to get out on the town, a good place to go check out. We always love LaFontaine's.
Absolutely.
We love Davis's place because their pizza.
Food is outstanding.
The service
great pricing.
is great.
Yeah, everybody's just really good at Davis.
It's a great situation. Another place we like to go is the Paddock, or Paddock, depending on how you say it.
Yeah.
That's my Wayne roots coming out, but. We have a great time. We will start somewhere. We'll have dinner. We hit up one of those places, and then Paddock is always where we end. That's where we end our night because we're going back to West Mo. So
it's in the cut. It's
and
the
they have great food too.
Phenomenal food,
drinks. If you're just wanting some quick food and you're tired of the same old restaurants that you always go to, try one of the bar and grills.
Yeah, because there's a lot of families in there.
There's a lot of families.
Really, yeah, truly.
And you're supporting local
Absolutely.
families in the process of enjoying yourself.
And to kind of piggyback off the Paddock, it's ran and owned by firefighters.
Yes.
They have, I think it's every Monday, Bill comes out, he cooks all kinds of smoked meats and different things.
I was going to say, there's a few guys, I think, that come out and
they're
cook
always having different people coming out and cooking. But they've got weekly and daily, they've got great food. But listen, support these local people. You've got everybody from firefighters to everything else, and even live music at some of these bars. That may not be everybody's thing, but there's a lot of live music at these bars too. There's something for everybody out there.
And you really never know when you're going to see the next Tyler Childers.
Right.
So take advantage of the stuff that we have.
We talk about that a lot.
We do. We talk about that so much because now you can't really afford to see Tyler Childers.
We even talked about Billy Ray at Camden Park.
We even talked about Billy Ray at Camden Park. Yeah. We talked about that. You guys have heard my Billy Ray story and all that, but there is. And another big thing that happens in Huntington, let's not forget, we used to have our Wayne County Fair at the police farm out in
I remember those days, yeah.
But now it's at Camden Park.
At Camden,
so there's
take
a
advantage
week of a old school Wayne County festival, and they still do the beauty pageants. They still do the pie eating contest. They do the dessert contest of the best one. I mean, there's so many things that they do, and it's right there. It's right in Westmoreland.
Yeah. Got a lot going on down there.
There really is. There's so much,
Yeah.
and I'm so thankful for it.
Ritter Park's always got a ton of stuff going too.
Ritter Park always has things like all the 5Ks, all the different
vendors. I mean, everything.
vendors.
Yeah.
I think like every Saturday throughout the whole summer, and I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that they do a vendor fair. I think the lady who's doing it, I think she's scheduled a vendor fair for like every Saturday in the summer. So you can go and get homemade goods, homemade baked goods, go get a T-shirt made. Go get a customized gift made for your grandma or
Absolutely,
whoever.
yeah.
But just take that Saturday morning, scroll around, see what they do, and there's always food vendor trucks there too, so you can grab lunch while you're there. I think last time we were there, it was West Tenapa's food truck, which I love West Tenapa.
Yeah.
So I'm always
That's
happy
awesome.
to support Lupe and his family. They give back so much to our community, so I think that's the least we can do for them is to show up when they're set up.
Absolutely.
So
Again, eat
that's
local.
Pretty cool. Eat local for sure. Absolutely. Anything else you want to talk about?
No.
We've had so much going on.
We've covered a lot of good stuff. There's a lot more to come, I will say that. But, most importantly, I just encourage everybody to get out there. You voted in great leadership. They're doing their part. I tell everybody now go enjoy it. This is a great city.
We really have the best city.
Yeah,
we really
it
do.
really is. So.
I don't know that I could call anywhere else home.
Well, as you know, I've lived in very, very big cities, and I've always loved being back in Huntington. I've got to see what worked and didn't work in these big cities and living there.
Absolutely.
But I tell you, there's nothing to me that beats Huntington, and no matter what I would do in life, I'm always going to come back to Huntington, and I want to see it be successful. And right now, I feel like we're kind of in a process of a historical moment, because I really think we're on the verge of really breaking this thing open and Huntington being really top-notch.
I think so, too. I think we're on the brink of thriving again like we were back in the factory times.
It's just different now,
It's different, but I think we are on the brink of something huge. And with Marshall growing the way that it does, not to keep hounding on the growth of Huntington, but I mean, Marshall's doing incredible things. They're hiring people left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Our children have this wonderful college in their backyard. And they great tuition fees. I think Marshall had signed an agreement with Mason County and Wayne County schools that the kids don't even have to test into Marshall anymore if they're from one of those two counties. They just accept it automatically. And I just think that's phenomenal. That's opening doors for kids that didn't think they would ever have the opportunity of higher education to just jump right in and know that, okay, college is an option for me.
It is, yeah.
And I think that's major, because when I graduated high school, it wasn't an option for me. My family didn't have the money.
Yeah.
And there was no way that I could take out loans and all that. I wasn't in a situation. I was a single mom, and that wasn't an option. So I think how wonderful that is, because now this opportunity is going to thousands of kids.
Yeah. Hats off to Brad Smith and his staff for, I mean, that's innovative for around
really
here.
is.
I mean, to be able to do that.
And that's the perfect word to describe Brad Smith.
Yeah.
Innovative.
He is.
He's fantastic, and we're so lucky to have him. But I guess we've rambled enough.
Good times.
We've covered your ride to work, I think, hopefully, and we hope that you guys join us for the next episode. So we are out of here.
Thanks for listening to the Tri-State Time Machine, brought to you by Alex R. White, PLLC, at SueDistractedDriver.com. If you have a memory you want Vanessa to talk more about, just send her an email at tstm@mail.com or post a comment on the Tri-State Time Machine Facebook page. Did you like the episode? Be sure to share it with friends and family. It's the only way we can continue this fun work that we do. You can find a link in the show notes that you can use to share it. And be sure to let our sponsors know you like the podcast as well. Their contact information can be found in this episode's show notes.